That main riff in Avenged Sevenfold's Unholy Confessions completely changed the game for modern metal music. The use of dual guitar harmonies, pedal point, and exotic scales in that brilliant arrangement has inspired and has even been ripped off by many artists since that banger came out in the golden year of 2003. I'm going to teach you how to play this riff and cover all its nuances so that by the end of this video, you'll be equipped to play a riff that everyone thinks sounds super cool. You're also going to want to share this video with a guitar playing buddy because I'm going to show you how both guitar parts are played. So in case you want to get a similar sound that I'm using in this lesson, I'm going to show you the amp sim that I'm using. So I've got my guitar plugged into my interface, which is plugged into my computer, and I'm running the free version of ML Sound Lab's Amped Roots plugin through Reaper, which is my digital audio workstation. And what the Amped Roots plugin is doing is it's simulating a physical amplifier, even though it's not a physical amplifier. And I want to give you a little something to go along with this lesson. It's my Elite Tones cheat sheet. And what that does is it shows you how to dial in killer amp tones. Plus, it shows you how to make digital amp simulators like this one sound like authentic physical amplifiers. It even has direct links to some of my favorite free amp simulators, just like this Amped Roots one. The Elite Tones cheat sheet is completely free, so just click the link in the description or go to my website at zachsharguitar.com and download it. Then once you're squared away with that, you can come on back to this lesson and I can show you the rest of how to play Avenged Sevenfold's Unholy Confessions. So to make sure you're playing this right, you want to make sure your guitar is tuned correctly. This song happens to use drop D tuning, so basically all that is taking your standard tuning and dropping the low E string down to a D note. This song is also played in the key of D minor. And if you're really into the nerdy side of things like I am, you might want to check out an older video I made on this song where I give it a full music theory breakdown. So for the first guitar part, play the lower D string. I might call it the low E string every now and then, but technically it is the lower D string. We're going to play that 2 times and we're going to give it some palm muting. And then we're going to play a series of notes that dance along the A string. This uses a concept called pedal point. And when we do that, we're going to pull off each note that's fretted on that string, and we're going to pull off to the open A string. So after we play those first 2 notes, we're going to play fret 5 and then pull off to the open A string. Do the same thing for fret 7, fret 8, and fret 10. So here's what we've got so far from the beginning. We're going to go back to that 8th fret and do the same thing. Now we're going to land on the 7th fret and we're going to play a little triplet by hammering onto the 8th fret and then pulling off back to the 7th fret. And then we're going to land that sequence on the 10th fret of the lower D string and give that note a little vibrato. Back from the top. Next, we're going to play fret 8 of that lower D string. We're going to hit that twice. Then we're going to play a few more notes on that A string and do some more of that pedal point by returning to the open A string itself. But we're going to start on fret 10 of that string and pull off to the open A string. Then we're going to do fret 8 of the A string and do the same thing with the pull off, and then land on fret 7. We're going to give that 7th fret a little vibrato when we land on it. So from the top. Now we're going to finish that sequence by playing fret 7 of the lower D string 2 times. Then we're going to go back up the way we came by, again, using that pedal point and pulling off to the open A string in between each note. And we're going to start on fret 7 and pull off to the open A string. Do the same thing for fret 8. And then we're going to land on fret 10 of the lower D string and give that some vibrato. That is basically the gist of what you can expect for the rest of the main riff. So here it is from the top. So in the beginning of the song, that sequence repeats one more time, but not in its entirety. We're only going to play the first 2 measures, but then when we land on the 10th fret of the low D string, we're then going to play a power chord by barring the lower D string and the A string on the 8th fret and hitting that twice. And then doing the same thing, but on the 7th fret. So here's what the whole beginning part looks like. So on to guitar 2, all right? Feel free to learn both parts. Grab a friend. Each of you learn both parts, and then, you know, you guys can just take turns playing each part. One of you can be Zacky Vengeance, and the other can be Sinister Gates. So for guitar 2, everything looks very similar. There's no difference in the rhythm, so you don't have to worry about anything super complicated like that. The only thing that's different is the intervals. And instead of playing mostly on the A string like we did with guitar 1, we're just gonna drop it down to the D string, okay? That higher one, not the dropped one. So we're gonna start the same way, hit that drop D string twice. Then we're gonna play frets 3, 5, 7, 8, 7. But in between each of those notes, we're going to pull off to the D string, okay? The higher one. So here's what that sounds like. This time we're going to do another little triplet, but it's going to start on the 5th fret of the D string. We're going to hammer onto fret 7 and then pull off before landing on the 7th fret of the A string and giving that note a little vibrato. So here's what that little quick sequence sounds like. From the top. Then we're going to play the 8th fret of the lower D string 2 times. Then we're going to play the 8th fret of the higher D string and then pull off to the open D string. Play fret 7 of that same string and then pull off to the open D string. Then land on fret 5 of that string and give that note a little vibrato. Then we're going to finish it off by playing fret 7 2 times. Keep in mind we're going to be palm muting those 2 notes just like we did with fret 8. Then we're going to play fret 5 of the D string, pull off to the open D string, then play fret 7 and do the same thing and pull off to that open D string. Then we're going to land on fret 7 and give that some vibrato. from the top. Congrats, you now know how to play one of my all-time favorite riffs. Not only that, but you can play both guitar parts. If you really want to have some fun with this, learn both guitar parts with a friend, so that way you can each take turns playing as Sinister Gates and Zacky Vengeance. Just make sure your guitars are tuned to drop D. And if you really want to make this riff sound as killer as can be, don't forget to download my free Elite Tones cheat sheet if you have not done so already. It gives you my best tips on how to dial in amp tones that you'll love. It also shows you how to make digital amp simulators sound like authentic physical amplifiers. It even includes direct links to some of my favorite free amp sims. Just click the link in the description or go to ZachSharGuitar.com and download this awesome free resource. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Zach with Zach Shar Guitar, and I will see you in the next one.